You are born in 1987, Haifa, northern Israel. Not into a movie. Into a country that treats security like weather. Some days it's calm, some days it's sirens. Either way, your nervous system grows up practicing the same skill, readiness without panic. Your father is a reservist. Your mother works long hours. Dinner conversations are not dramatic, just practical. Don't leave your bag unattended. Don't overshare. Don't assume someone is harmless because they smile. You learn early that privacy is not a personality trait here. It's basic hygiene. In school, you are not the loud kid. You are the kid who notices patterns, who sits slightly angled so you can see the door, who watches faces during arguments and learns who lies by default and who lies only when cornered. Teachers call you serious. Classmates call you cold. Neither is fully true. You're just controlled. By age 12, you start combat sports. Krav Maga first, then boxing. Not because you want violence, because you hate feeling physically unprepared. You become a striker. Fast hands, disciplined footwork, stamina built the boring way. You learn what pain does to decision-making. You learn that fear shows up in breathing before it shows up in words. By 2002, you're training most mornings. Roadwork, bag, pads. You eat like an athlete even when your friends eat like teenagers. You don't drink much. You don't party much. People think you're judging them. You're not. You're studying yourself. By 2005, you finish high school. Military service is waiting. Your father gives you one line, no speech. If you're going to serve, serve properly. You aim high, not for glory, but for control. You want the version of service that feels like competence. You test into a combat-adjacent intelligence track, not elite yet, not glamorous. But it teaches the habits that matter. Observation. Report discipline. Staying awake when nothing happens. Staying quiet when something does. You learn how hierarchy actually feels. Not ideology, just routine pressure. Do it again. Do it cleaner. Do it without excuses. Your first big lesson is not about weapons. It's about time. Patience beats aggression. You watch people make mistakes because they rush to prove something. You begin building a life philosophy that sounds boring but keeps you alive. Don't perform. Don't impress. Don't create noise. By 2008, service ends. Most of your friends travel. You don't. You enroll at Tel Aviv University, political science, Middle Eastern studies. You choose Arabic as a major language. Not because it's romantic, because it's useful. You train twice a day, study at night, and keep your social life small and controlled. You're building a profile without calling it that. By 2011, you graduate. You take a normal job on paper, private security analytics, threat assessment memos, risk summaries. The work is dry. You like that. You're good at removing emotion from information and leaving only what decision-makers need. Most people write like they want to be admired. You write like you want to be understood. That's when it begins. Not with a dramatic offer. With a conversation that feels too clean to be casual. Someone asks simple questions and watches your reaction more than your answer. Stress tolerance, ego, mistakes, loyalty to systems, loyalty to people. You notice what they never ask. They never ask if you want fame. You go home and tell yourself it was nothing. But a few weeks later, another conversation happens. Then another. Then forms, then silence. Then more forms. This is what selection looks like when it's real. It doesn't seduce you, it audits you. They run background checks. They talk to people from your past. They look for instability that hides behind confidence. They test your ability to sit in uncertainty without leaking it onto others. And somewhere in that process, you understand the truth. You're not applying. You're being evaluated for usability. You are cleared in 2012. And when you enter training, the myth dies fast. No tuxedos, no rooftop stunts. Classrooms, modules, schedules, instructors who look like normal office workers because that's the point. They correct you with calm precision. Nobody screams. Screaming is emotional. Emotion is sloppy. Your day becomes blocks. Early physical conditioning, not heroic, preventative. endurance, functional strength, breathing under stress. The goal is not to make you look strong. The goal is to stop your body from betraying your mind. Then language lab. Not tourist Arabic, not polite Arabic. Dialect, listening drills, accent refinement. You repeat the same sentences until your jaw hurts. Instructors stop you on single syllables. They don't praise effort, they praise accuracy. You learn that language is not vocabulary, it's belonging, and belonging is access, then reporting discipline. You write short, cold summaries. No adjectives, no drama. Subject showed avoidance when finances were mentioned. Subject tone shifted when family was referenced. Reliability uncertain, confidence moderate. Your writing becomes a tool that can survive in courtrooms, committees, and history books. Then psychology modules. Not mind control, human patterns, motives, fear responses, ego habits, stress leakage. They teach you a simple framework because institutions love frameworks. People move under pressure for predictable reasons: ideology, money, ego, belonging, fear, compromise. You don't learn how to recruit. You learn what recruitment is at a high level, a human decision made while the person is uncomfortable, hungry, scared, or lonely. The ethics brief is always there like a warning sign. If you start enjoying power over people, you're already compromised. You learn compartmentalization like a religion. You do not know everything. You know your slice, your lane, your assigned window. That is not mistrust, it is survival. Institutions don't fail only from enemies. They fail from humans who talk too much. Halfway through training, they show you the machine, not as a legend, as an org chart. Not as names, but as functions. Operations, collection, research and analysis, technology and cyber, logistics and cover administration, liaison work with other state bodies, legal review, oversight, budget. The myth outside is one shadow figure. The reality inside is a building full of deadlines. They give you an internal nickname. Not because it's cool, because it's efficient. A short call sign that avoids real names, avoids ego, avoids confusion in reports. Most call signs come from something small and embarrassing you did early, because that keeps you humble. You become stone because you don't react, or meter because you measure everything. Not heroic, just useful. You also see how people are informally classed inside the culture. Again, not as a public label, but as internal shorthand. Not official ranks, more like roles with expectations. The trainees joke about it, but the instructors don't. A class, people built for field-facing pressure and travel rhythms. B class, analysts and case support who turn chaos into decisions. C class, technical and cyber specialists, quiet power, limited patience for ego. Nobody says one class is better. They say one class is right for a mission type. By 2014, you complete training, and the first overseas assignment feels disappointingly normal. Airports, waiting rooms, hotel lobbies. Your cover is boring on purpose: consultant, researcher, business support. Your job is not to look like a spy. Your job is to look like nothing. Your issued kit is also boring on purpose: a plain bag, neutral watch, notebook, secure communications device, secondary disposable phone, identity documents under an alternate profile. A concealed sidearm exists as category issue, but it is not your personality. The real weapon is judgment and the ability to not escalate. Your routine becomes a loop you can run anywhere. Wake early, light workout, cold water. Breakfast functional, protein, carbs, hydration. You stop eating for pleasure, you eat for stability. Language refresh audio while you commute. Briefing, then hours of controlled boredom. Observation, note-taking, verification, reporting. This is where you learn the ugly secret of field work. The job is mostly waiting, writing, and not getting sloppy. The first serious incident is not a shootout. It's friction, a delayed meeting, a contact who asks one extra question, a minor mismatch that makes your stomach drop. Your mouth dries, your pulse rises, your brain offers dumb solutions fast: run, argue, over-explain. Training overrides instinct. Slow down, neutral face, simple answers, no performance. You survive by being boring. Back at the safe environment, the debrief is cold. No praise, corrections, documentation. You spoke too long. You moved too fast. You assumed too early. Your ego learns to starve. And you start understanding why the myth is dangerous. Myth teaches performance. The real job punishes performance. As years pass, you rotate across functions. You sit with analysts who never travel and still shape outcomes. You sit with cyber and technology teams who don't look like spies and still hold frightening leverage. You sit with logistics people who can move paper, approvals, travel, and cover support, without whom super spies would be stranded like tourists. You learn that intelligence is an ecosystem: human sources, analysis, technology, liaison coordination, and oversight friction, all in one machine. You begin receiving task types that are described in blunt categories, not dramatic language. Some are collection-heavy: gather, verify, assess reliability. Some are liaison-heavy: coordinate information flow with partners. Some are prevention-heavy: identify threats early enough that nothing happens publicly. Some are crisis support: help protect nationals abroad, support evacuations, or rapid response planning at a high level. You are not told heroic stories. You are given deliverables. You start keeping private stats because humans gamify what they can't emotionally process. Sleep quality, poor. Caffeine intake, rising. Writing output, constant. Mistakes avoided, invisible. Relationships maintained, unstable. Your diet becomes mechanical. You learn which foods keep you steady, which foods make you jittery. You become the person who always has water, always has a small snack, always has a routine, because routine is your only sense of control. You develop small habits that betray your job: sitting facing exits, scanning hands, noticing who is watching who. You try to turn it off, it doesn't turn off, it just gets quieter. In 2018, you're promoted. More responsibility, less romance. You review junior reports, you correct their phrasing, you strip out speculation, you teach them to write like adults. You explain the internal rule: if you can't justify a claim in clean language, it doesn't exist. Then you meet the thing the myth never shows: institutional failure. Not a cinematic catastrophe. A slow collapse. A source breaks under pressure. A lead turns out unreliable. A partner service gives you incomplete context. A political timeline squeezes judgment. The machine does what machines do. It keeps moving, and it tries to place blame somewhere tidy. You learn the hardest truth: control is an illusion, risk is permanent, and perfect is a fairy tale sold to civilians. By 2022, you rotate away from constant travel. You teach, you mentor, you run language discipline blocks, you train posture under stress because posture leaks emotion. You teach reporting discipline again and again because new people arrive believing the myth. You don't shame them. Reality will do it for you. You try civilian rhythm and discover you don't fit cleanly anymore. Supermarket lighting feels hostile. Loud noises spike your pulse. You don't panic. You also don't relax. Your body learned a job that doesn't have an off switch. Now you write the only honest section: myth versus reality. Myth: a lone super spy. Reality: a professional inside a state machine. Myth: glamorous missions. Reality: structured isolation, paperwork, approvals, waiting, and the constant fear of exposure. Myth: you know everything. Reality: you know your slice, because that's how the machine survives humans. Myth: you feel nothing. Reality: you feel plenty. You just learned to hide it, and then you forgot how to stop hiding it. Now the final scoreboard. Years served, over a decade. Languages: 2 fully, 1 partially. Sleep debt: permanent. Public recognition: 0. Operational outcomes: mostly invisible. Regret: occasional. Pride: controlled. Myth destroyed: yes. You are not a legend. You are a file number, a trained habit of control. A human being who learned to live with uncertainty until uncertainty became your personality. This is your whole life. Whose life do we live next? Vote in the comments. Subscribe.